Well, I wrote recently about the unknown soldier, which most countries have got in either in their embassies or in a tomb, relating to a soldier who has died, probably a mutilated soldier on most occasions. They couldn't recognise whether he was black or white or yellow, or indifferent, or whether he was a Muslim or a Catholic or a Christian in any other sense, or a Muslim or whatever, or a Jew. Could have been anybody. So the unknown soldier is just a typical everyday neighbour, a person who is beside you. Could be anybody, might be your enemy, could be anybody. Basically, the unknown soldier. So basically, it's a typical laying of a wreath to somebody who you love, because of his indifference or difference mainly, or similarities, but it's definitely somebody you regard for in a time of crisis or war or similar. Somebody who had the same efforts as you but in a different form, probably. I wrote to the Prime Minister and said, look, you're actually killing this person every day, the unknown soldier, basically because you're selling arms to absolutely anybody in the world. You don't know if they're even going to come back at you, these arms sales. They may well do. Somebody you know is going to be shot. Your neighbour basically is going to die because you're selling arms. And not just that, they're actually shooting in the wars, whatever reason it's for. The unknown soldier would be typical that he would be against the sacrifices or the obliteration of anybody, the death of anybody in a war, time of crisis or anything like that. These people, like governments or whatever, are actually killing the unknown soldier every day. In 1 minute they're praying for him and laying a wreath and saying how fantastic it is, and it'll never happen again. And on the other hand, they're out there making sure they shoot anybody, whether they're Muslim, Jew, or whatever. We don't know. We don't even really know what Al Qaeda is against. Really, it's not actually said. It hasn't been said since it's been going on, the terrorism. Nobody's actually come out and said this is what Al Qaeda's about. I know they don't like the West and stuff like that, but I mean, they don't actually explain in great detail. I personally think it's about Freemasonry and stuff like that. These people do not like Freemasons, especially in their country, whether they're West-handed or East-handed. You can gather that. They're everywhere, these Freemasons. I don't agree on them myself. That's my typical point of view. Drugs and stuff like that, whatever. Freemasonry. Anyway, it can be many reasons why they don't like the West. Mainly because their influence, bad influence. Doesn't necessarily mean to say the West is absolutely fantastic, has a good influence all the time. There is bad influences, such as Freemasonry and Mormonism and Moonism and God knows what else the West tries to defend in their freedom of society. So the unknown soldier dies regularly, even in the streets. Doesn't matter where or when, but if these countries generally have a tomb for the unknown soldier, and his remains are there. Used to be, or generally was, a member of the First World War, found in the trenches. Somebody they can't actually name or label. They didn't know whose side he was for, or whatever, as I said before. I thought it was a strong letter. I didn't get a reply. This was about a month ago. Month and a week ago, so 5 weeks ago. I didn't get a reply, so that was by email. So I sent a letter to number 10 and I said, look, I told you about this and you haven't replied. I don't actually think they actually have a great opinion or point of view on the average member of public, because they won't actually reply to the fact of the unknown soldier who is a neighbour. They wouldn't actually reply to my figment of them replying to a neighbour who wrote the letter in the first place, an email or mail. So I am the unknown soldier, same as you are the unknown soldier. You're the unknown neighbour, and I'm the unknown neighbour. Therefore, we should be treated with respect anywhere, and anybody should be treated with respect generally if they are logically straightforward human beings with whatever ideas, as long as they're true ideas, it should be respected. Oh well, that's it. I think I did it all reasonably, and thank you for watching. Thank you, bye bye. Bye bye.